1 of Adventurers Wanted. Yay! We'll be playing the 92nd hour of a 100-hour D&D campaign. So you are coming into this very much at the end game setup. So there'll be quite a few things here you may not understand, which is absolutely fine. We have a relaxed attitude to sound and movement from the audience, including audience participation. So if at any point you'd like to say, sorry, what's going on, please help, please advise, you are more than welcome to. Please shout out from the audience. We have a relaxed attitude to that response back from you. In fact, let's give you a quick test. On 3, can you shout what at me? 1, 2, 3.
What?
Perfect. Thank you very much. It was more of a sort of indignant what than a what's going on what, but I'm okay with it. That's grand. Lovely. Thank you very much. So, what's happening? We are playing a game of D&D. And we don't necessarily, while we have a relaxed attitude to sound and movement, and we do normally do relaxed performances, for the next 2 hours, we are not technically a relaxed performance because we have someone in the back making noise. There we go. So there will be some loud sound effects throughout the hour, but otherwise the lighting state will stay exactly the same. And if you need any help in the room, our stage manager Nemo is right there. And if you need anything, reach over and grab them or give them a wave. If you need to head out the room for any reason, there's the doors to your left that you came in through. They take you out to a foyer space where Sweet Company members wearing the black and red t-shirts with Sweet written across the front are there to assist you. They will need to assist you to get you back in as the door is on a key fob system. Hello. Come on in. Just doing the pre-show amble. Preamble? Whatever. So, excellent. Right. Dungeons and Dragons. I'm guessing the people in the room are kind of au fait with the concept of D&D. Are we? Yeah? Nods? I see nods. Oh, there's a maybe. Excellent. Well, allow me to explain. The 4 people to my left and right play characters in a shared fantasy universe, and I play the shared fantasy universe. So everything they encounter, everything they do, I will be mastering the game that we are playing. To make sure I don't abuse that awesome level of power that comes with that, we use dice to make sure things are somewhat fair. We use a 20-sided dice 9 times out of 10. So it looks like this. A 1 is terrible, a 20 is brilliant. Feel free to boo and or cheer depending on how you feel about the character in question. We will also be using special abilities that they have because of the character sheets in front of them. Spells will be cast. We'll try and cut down the math as much as possible, which is a big part of the game, but we will try and work together to collaboratively tell you a story of what is happening. In a second, I will try and collect 91 hours of gameplay into sort of a 5-minute pressy. But before we get there, let's meet all the characters that are playing today. So, starting on my right, can you please give your name, the pronouns you use, your character's name, the pronouns they use, and a little bit about who your character is and what they do. For example, I'm the Games Master, my name is Chris, and I use he, him pronouns.
My name's Catherine, I use she, her pronouns, as does my character, who is Dottie Hearthfire, a dragonborn. Basically, Molly Weasley, if Molly Weasley was a dragon and didn't realise she was a dragon. My favourite pastimes include watercolour painting, embroidery, baking, forcing people to eat shortbread, making friends, helping the community, and writing letters.
It's a good thing you've come in at the end game of a quite combat-heavy D&D game, but, you know, that's great. Like,
yeah.
It'll work out perfectly for everyone involved.
It's got to be fun.
Excellent.
My character is, I am Tyrone, I use he, him pronouns. My character is Kawhi, also use he, him pronouns. Kawhi is a small, dark-skinned barbarian dwarf. They are basically covered in hair to the point where it's like, they're actually not wearing a top, it's just hair, but people get confused from a distance kind of thing. It's just dirty as hell, but they're kind of okay with it, and they're kind of proud of it in the whole dwarven heritage of it.
Excellent, thank you very much.
I am Isla. She, her pronouns, and main character Kimmy is the same. She is a halfling monk, and she is got a big quarterstaff. She used it to hit a lot of things, but that's not what she became a monk for. What she became a monk for was calligraphy. Yeah, the big letters at the beginning of a chapter.
Letters.
That's yeah. I feel once we actually get to speak to each other, we could get on quite well.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm playing Catsel, who is she, her, as am I. Catsel is a dwarven barbarian. For anyone on the stream, this is a different character to Ezzy, just to be clear. She's very, very cheerful, and yesterday she sort of met herself from the past, so also a bit confused. Please tell me that I've slept.
Oh, in-game, yeah, you have, yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. Yes, in-game you absolutely have slept. That is not a problem at all. So, let me try and catch you up. It's a bit wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey, so it will. Yeah, I'll get there. Right. The players to my left and right are members of a rebellion. This rebellion were rebelling against a cult. This cult took over their home plane of existence and enslaved them, forcing them to mine a mysterious ore from the ground. This ore had strange explosive properties, i.e. cast magic near it, kaboom, and strange time travel properties, which has become more prevalent as the adventure has continued. They have pushed this cult out of their plane of existence and back through a portal into the various multifarious multiverses that exist out there. Yeah, that was about hour 70, I think. It went quite well. However, some of the rebellion felt that the cult would A, probably return, and B, their portals seem to have time travel properties, so when they return may also be an issue. And decided that it was probably best to push on through these portals and try and defeat the cult in their base of power. They have travelled through many multiverses, including Arthur's Seat at one point, and have, happened, the Queen saw it, and have pushed them back to what looks like to be their sort of home base. A clockwork realm of existence where every floor, ceiling and wall is made up of slowly grinding, twisting cogs, known as the Nexus. In the centre of this nexus is a gigantic green crystal. This crystal is somewhat overgrown. It appears to have sort of rock in it. It's supposed to be chipped out of this ore, the same ore they were mining out of the ground back in Deriland. And another cult that also exists there, who wear yellow to differentiate them more easily, have been working to purify this crystal of the influence of this magical ore, which the rebellion have been helping with. In the process, they've discovered that the other cult is also here and is also wants the crystal purified for reasons yet to be discovered, and they are currently trying to help the yellow cult to purify the crystal and fight back the green cult. I mean, they're more interesting names than that, but let's go with colours for easier. And we are currently finding them in the process of doing so. So, 3 of you were involved with finding that the cult had a new stronghold relatively close to where the yellow cult are trying to purify the crystal, where the green cult are building a gigantic, monstrous war machine, and their leader, as far as you can tell, a beholder, big floating eye, with a clockwork eye, we may not meet him, we'll see, are working to assault what remains of the yellow cult, take over the crystal after it's been purified, and presumably use it to create a portal back to Deriland to strip mine it of all of the ore that remains. The beholder appears to have time travel magic properties, has described how he wants to go back to before when you guys started the rebellion to strip mine the place, which will probably undo everything that you have done and destroy your hometown and probably the universe. No pressure. So the 3 of you have just managed to discover this and have made your way down this long gear-like corridor to escape this moment, to return back to the central hub where this gigantic shard of crystal is most prevalent, where the yellow cult are currently building machinery to access it. Anything you'd like to discuss or talk about on your way back?
Hello.
Who are you talking to, Dottie?
Everyone.
Everyone.
Shake your hand. I'm Kimmy.
Your hand. You are very small.
Dottie is
I
7
am
foot
a
tall,
big
Kimmy
dragon.
is 3 foot tall.
I'm Kimmy.
A hand disappears in my claw. What's the plan?
I'm not sure. That big eye thing. Big floaty eye thing.
Oh yes, my blinky friend.
Your friend, is it?
Dottie tends to think everything's a friend until it hits her.
Even then.
So far. You're there as well. Kawaii, if you want to dive in, please do.
Do you still have some tea on you?
Yes.
Some tea on the way back.
Having tea on the way back.
Yeah.
I don't think we're quite communicating the severe threat and worry of this moment, but okay, fine. You are making your way back. Katzel, you were part of a group yesterday retrieving a piece of a 7 foot tall piece of copper armor that was stolen away by some of the robotic creatures that inhabit the Nexus. In doing so, one of your allies saw their future self killed and then committed suicide, took their own life. Yeah, dark.
This is grim.
The 3 of you plus the copper robot have made your way back to the central point of the Nexus and are now trying to work with the yellow cult, the copper robot being a huge part of their access to the green crystal.
past me is no longer there, right?
Yes. Your past and future forms have reconnected
Cool.
as you
Great.
wound the clock back in a
Great.
time puzzle from yesterday.
Gosh.
Yeah. You guys had it easy this morning. Good grief.
Great.
Do you want to say anything to your allies, or you can talk to the copper robot as well if you wanted to.
How's it going, Copper?
The robot sort of twitches its head a few times. The copper 7-foot robot contains the souls of about 2/3 of this yellow cult that were absorbed into it. They appear to vie for control of it, generally speaking, but as far as you can tell at this point, no one has really taken precedence, and it appears to have a kind of multiple personality disorder twitch that doesn't quite ever align itself. And as it sort of, many different voices try and tell it what to do, the voice that comes through is a 7-year-old girl that was part of this cult and decided to join it to help fit everything together. I think I'm alright, thank you.
Oh, good.
That was a very strange day.
Well, you were stolen by a spider thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did know there were robots here. I think part of... I was going to say the suit, but part of me is bits of it, I think. I don't know.
That's quite a lot of information coming from a 7-year-old child.
Well, I have all these voices that are now telling me things as well, so... it's a bit disconcerting.
Can you hear
It's a good
everybody?
thing... I can. It's a lovely thing my cat is in here too.
What does the cat say?
Not a lot, it's a cat.
Does it meow?
I tend to get more emotive feelings from it because I'm sort of feeling its brain, and inside their heads, cats don't meow.
Do you still have like a body, or are you just a...
Hang on. I think you'll find all the bodies were disintegrated when we entered the suit. Yes, that is correct. Yes,
Really weird.
it will take some getting used to.
Yeah.
I think that I am less prone to arguing with everyone, so they let me sort of run the shop.
Do I see any of this?
You guys are approaching from another part of the Nexus and are currently not in the same area.
I'm sorry. You have like 20 adults in you, and they can't stop arguing.
I mean, that particular turn of phrase is not great, but yes.
Great. That sounds like fun.
It's all right. It's more like, you know, when you have lots of different thoughts about what to do with things. It's more like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Yes, this is a lot of fun,
Okay.
and I'm closer to all of them than I have ever been. I feel like I'm really part of my family now.
That's
My mum's in here, and my dad,
yeah. That's good. That's good.
and my cat.
And your
I'm very
cat.
close to my cat now.
Have you got friends as well?
Yeah, some of the people in here are my friends. Some are not, and they are very mean, but I'm able to push those thoughts aside most of the time.
That's good.
Most of the time.
That's good. Seems like you're doing a good job of being in charge of the art. Well done.
I don't think I'm so much in charge as not a problem.
That's also really good. Well done.
Excellent. You step out of one of these corridors and are stepping back into the main space where the rest of the cult and a lot of your rebellion allies are currently trying to fix the machinery that attaches copper to the crystal. As they step through, you guys are all stepping back through your side of things, running with some fear, I hope, because you just saw the enemy and they're approaching.
I'm casually drinking some tea. It's like, oh, by the way, big eye thing back there. Nice guy, like really polite, also a bit of a dick.
Simon and Wisatris, the two leaders of the rebellion, Simon being a humanoid in massive spiked metal armor that is holding him together because he is dead, and Wisatris, who is an elven wizard, both approach. I'm sorry, what?
So, firstly, well, lovely tea, thank you.
Very well.
Thank you. So,
What?
I think there are pressing matters here.
people, cult people, back behind with
Things to smash.
yes, but there's big things with eyes and lots of eyes, multiple eyes, big multiple eyes and clockwork and stuff and not good stuff.
Wisatris blinks and... Very well, it appears we have something of a... What are their intentions?
They were around a mechanical thing. Like we've got our mechanical stuff is going great, but they've got another mechanical thing which is kind of gonna. So,
Did they tell you what their plans were?
They didn't monologue really. There wasn't really much of a monologue, but they were building a machine thing, and like me using my because I'm like dwarves, we're kind of good at this kind of stuff.
Yes,
kind of figure out it's kind of like a good mining, kind of like strip mining kind of thing. So they've got a strip mining kind of thing. Actually, impressive craft work, I have to say. Like really impressive craft work, and like again, the leadership qualities are fantastic, but they're a bit evil.
So they are building a machine to strip mine, and they also want this crystal purified. I presume they will use it to make a portal to Deriland. Was that something they said they would do?
Yeah.
Yes. They were going to go back, before, earlier, time, stuff, words.
Then we must hold them here.
Oh, did we tell you about the time thing earlier?
What time thing earlier?
Oh, there were like two of us, like past me and present me at the same time, but we couldn't touch each other because that hurt a lot. And so like, it's not as straightforward as it sounds.
That weird eye thing had weird time things as well. I couldn't hit it. Well, like, I hit it, and then I didn't, and then I tried to hit it again and it didn't work.
That's not the same thing as happened to me, but there were
No, but
definitely
it was
two
time.
of me. We killed something together. It was great.
It sounds like various creatures around here have some time travel abilities. The clockwork suit next to you twists around a bit, and then Russ, the original leader of the cult's voice comes through. Yes, there is a time travel property to the portals. They can be used to travel through space and time. I presume that is what the creature's plan is, and as to its abilities and the things you faced, the Nexus appears to have some collocation of different time travel and time manipulation abilities. I presume they are all interlinked.
I'm sorry, Russ. You used a very long word there.
Yeah.
Collocation. Oh, I'm so sorry. Things together.
Why didn't you just say that?
I tend to have a rather expanded vocabulary. It is one of my character traits. It is written on my character sheet.
Psychic damage.
DM gives himself a nosebleed. There we go. There's a and then the young girl's voice comes through again. So, do we want to purify the crystal or not?
I think it'd be quite good to smash something, actually.
Let's smash the machine.
The cultists around you look a bit perturbed, and the leader of them, a man called Pankus, turns up and says, "It is our divine duty to purify this crystal. We must do it."
Do you have to do it now, though?
I do not see any reason to tarry. Musarchus, leaning across, goes, "I see a certain point in this. If we can purify the crystal and protect it from these creatures, we will have the ability to travel through space and time, and we will be able to stop the cult across all. It is mutually advantageous as long as we can hold it."
Well, I mean, we did a lot of work to get to the point where we had the suit, so maybe we should, use it.
Perhaps if we can complete the ritual to purify the crystal before they strike, we will have the ability to stop them in many other ways. That seems like a fair idea.
How do we complete the ritual?
So, hang on. So, if I am placed within the machinery there, and then there are various people applying their mental energy. Yes. Look, it's perfectly simple. You all need... And the machine is still talking with different voices.
Excuse me, why does this strange, shiny man have different voices?
Oh.
They put a lot of souls in there.
I am so sorry. We are the collected souls of most of this cult, apart from the Splitters, who decided not to join us. And the other cults look a bit shifty. Didn't go in.
So there's loads of people inside this...
There's a faint sort of click, and then out of the mouth of the robot comes a rather loud crowd collective. Yes.
Let them free! Let them out!
There's a crack again, and it steps back, sort of holding its hands up towards you. You're about the same height. And it says, and the little voice of the girl again, "This is what we want. We are very happy in this situation. We had always been working towards this point. We all want to live together, in harmony with the crystal, which we will now be able to achieve thanks to all of the hard work. I think it's a good idea if we fix the crystal and then stop them and smash the big eye thing."
Smashing is
Smash
good.
Smashing.
Quite difficult, but okay.
Why is it difficult?
I tried to smash the big eye.
Okay.
It didn't work.
Well, maybe if there is a larger force at hand, maybe they can all assist. At the same time, from behind you, down the corridor that you guys came up. Can you all make perception checks, please? I'll allow the people who aren't there as well.
Yeah, I can't.
18.
18.
3.
11.
3.
Yeah, no.
11.
13.
13. Catsel, from down that corridor, you can just about hear a horrific smashing, grinding, like the sound of a gigantic metal thing smashing through a bunch of other gigantic metal things. Yeah. A bit like that. That's consistent for the next hour. Put it on loop.
Really? No.
No. Imagine it consistently.
There's kind of, you know how we wanted to smash something? There's something smashing something down there.
It appears they're on their way. Should we try and fix this? Try and get the crystal purified?
How long will that take?
Do you
I don't know.
Do you need us to distract them?
I don't know.
But that's not much help, actually.
I think we should fight them first.
It comes up. It will take some time to complete the ritual to allow the suit to absorb itself into the crystal. It will probably need some assistance from some of you as well. Perhaps a force could go and try and slow this process down, and another could try and assist with the building of the machinery.
Right.
That seems like a good idea.
Which one do you want us to do?
Whichever you would feel most suited to.
I want to smash things.
I'm more of a smasher.
I mean, I'm not feeling particularly well at this point.
One of your allies will very easily come up and heal you up to full health, because otherwise it's too mean, and I'm not that mean. Harvey flies in and cures wounds on you for healing up. There you go.
This is good.
Yep. Do you want to go
Alright.
smash things as well, Kimmy?
Well, I want to go and try and get this eye thing sorted.
Okay. Dottie.
Guess that leaves it up to me to help build things.
Lovely. So the three of you are going to go and try and slow this machine down with some of your allies, and Dottie's going to try and...
I'm not violent, but I also have literally no mechanical experience.
Copper turns to you and says, "That's all right. A large part of this will be making sure everyone is happy enough and feels good enough to get inside the crystal with positive thoughts."
Then I think I'm the perfect dragon for the job.
Splendid. So, a large group, including the three of you, is going to be heading down this corridor to try and find the source of the smashing. While Dottie will be assisting with completing the ritual to allow the crystal to be fully formed. You're playing the next hour, right?
Yeah.
Lovely. Can we come back to you?
Yep.
Thank you. Good. So,
I'll just behave. Making little cute witticisms every now and then.
thank you, Dottie. So, the three of you make your way down the clock.
Let's go! I'm in a rage.
Cassell rages and runs down the corridor.
Yeah.
Well, if you're doing that, I click my knuckles together, grab my warhammer, like, screw it, I'm going as well.
Are you raging as well?
Yeah.
Two raging barbarians, running straight down this small corridor.
Remember to wear a clean vest.
I guess I'll follow them. Barbarians.
You also run down after the two barbarians, straight down the corridor. Lovely. As you run down said corridor and and keep running straight down, the gears around you, you can see that there was some damage from where you guys were last. However, as you push your way through, where the corridor opened out into the wide open space, a collection of gears and pistons and pulleys, a broken set of them, is up against where you came through, and there's sort of a horrible grinding as the gears try and continue to move as they normally would, but are clearly blocked in the path. The barbarians are currently standing raging in front of a solid wall of metal.
Pulling out a warhammer and smashing it.
Cool, make attack rolls against it. Go for it.
Can I be reckless for this?
Of course you can.
Yes. Yeah.
That is
That's a 23,
23?
and a 26.
26, 24,
19.
19. Dwarven barbarians just smashing their way into this wall ahead of them. Can you roll some damage on that for me, please?
Yeah.
Oh, that's shit.
19.
19?
Yeah.
That is 13 and 13, so 26.
You smash your way into this wall. They're tearing bits of this wall apart. You standing back a bit realise that...
We're here to slow them down. Why are you helping them get through the wall? Barbarian.
Make a perception check.
Us?
No, just her. You're busy.
17.
17. As you listen, trying to piece through the smashing, grinding noise ahead of you, to your right, into the wall, you can hear this cacophonous smashing happening almost down and to the left of you. Like this thing is chewing its way through the wall, not going down the corridor because it is too big.
I'm going to start trying to prise some of the cogs out of the wall with my quarterstaff.
Okay. Because of the way the Nexus is built, it's not like it's a perfect wall. There are these rotating gears and things moving around. You can try and sort of break things and make yourself a passage, but it's going to be very difficult. You have 4 attacks as part of your... well, 3 unless you use a flurry of blows. Please roll them and see what damage you do to the wall.
17 plus 6 to hit. 12 plus 6. 6 plus 6.
Using your hands and your quarterstaff, you start prizing panels and gears and making a passage. And as you do, you realise that making your way through the Nexus without an obvious pathway is possible, but very difficult. You will have to climb your way down gears, climb your way around things, but there is a sort of path ahead of you forming, if you will.
I mean, I like the climbing.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to do.
You start making your way into the wall, swinging your way down. Do you shout to your allies?
It's going through this way as well, so I'll be round here. Good luck.
And you start climbing your way into the wall and getting down. Are you two following?
Nope. Yeah, I'll follow.
So you tap your friend on the shoulder.
You're good. You're good. You smash here. I smash there.
Wait, there's more smashing.
I'm gonna go there. Smash this one through there.
So, where the very small monk has started to make their way through the bowels of the Nexus, just climbing through an endless universe of gears, you are joining in, and you are making your way down as well. Are you joining in as well?
I'll follow them, yeah.
Lovely.
They're both
3 of you are now climbing your way into the bowels of this gigantic plane of clockwork existence. Dottie.
Hello.
Hello.
I've
I'm
been
doing it
working-
now as well.
I've been working hard. I've drawn a lovely little picture of Dottie.
You are with the other cultists, and you can see that they are currently trying desperately and quickly, as the smashing sound behind you gets louder and louder, to basically affix various gears to this machinery to finish it off. The copper suit is either twitching and advising, or twitching and using its rather gigantic size and power to lift gears in to complete this machinery. How would you like to assist this moment?
Well, how can I help?
Some of the cultists look very concerned and worried and not quite sure what they're going to do. Simon and Musart just near you, and the rest of the rebellion are trying to ask questions and help where they can, but you get the sense that this is a race against time.
I want to help fix the machine, but I don't know how much I know.
You could ask for advice.
Can I please get some advice?
Oh, you can ask.
Copper, please help me. I want to help. I'm ever so keen.
You are very large. Are you also very strong?
Moderately.
Could you assist me with this gear? They're holding a giant gear they have to lock into the top.
Yes, I will.
Okay, can you roll an athletics check with advantage because Copper's helping you? Oh dear.
That's an 8.
An 8. Between the two of you, you're trying to lift this large gear and lock it into place, but you're struggling. Other cultists come along and do help you, but it takes more time than it should have. And now you feel like you're possibly running a little bit behind as people are running around you, desperately trying to make this work.
To be honest, I feel I've caused more fuss than help. And I feel a little bit guilty.
Do you have a relatively good charisma stat?
Do you know, I like to think I'm rather charming.
Do you have a particular charisma-based skill that you're good at?
Performance.
Performance! Interesting. How would you perform to inspire these people to do the best they can?
Poetry.
Yes!
Spoken words.
Can I have a spoken word poem, please? Off the top of your head, Catherine. She's a performance poet.
I want to die.
You can read out one of your own if you like, something like that.
No.
No.
I can also do medicine.
There are people who are looking very exhausted. You could assist them in a medical
Yes,
way.
I'm gonna do that.
Go for it. Go for it.
That's 14.
14. While some of the cultists are looking, some of the positive cultists, the yellow cults, are looking a little bit tired and exhausted by all the strenuous activity, while Copper doesn't tire because it's a gigantic robotic suit, the ones that are off to one side, you're making tea and passing it round to all of them and
Good.
giving them the resolve to continue.
Rage against the crystal.
Bless you, Kath. How's the hangover going?
You know, it's not so much the hangover, it's just I hate poetry.
The performance poet hates poetry. Good to know. So the three of you are climbing your way through the bowels of this clockwork area. You're going to have to climb down a couple of gears at this point. Beneath you, it's not like there's nothingness. You can see in a horrible non-Euclidean way that there are gears absolutely everywhere, but you get the sense that if you don't manage to do this carefully and with some delicacy, that there's every chance you will be ground against things or take a lot of damage from these gears and levers as you make your way through this area. Can I ask all three of you to make a dexterity saving throw to start us off, please? Barbarians, you get to do so with advantage because you are currently both raging.
That would be a 28.
I got a 1 and a 2.
Oh no!
So that makes it 3.
Sorry, advantage means you roll the dice twice to take a
I
higher
got,
number.
I got 4, then a 19, so 20.
The halfling. The
I spent the
halfling.
entirety of yesterday climbing round this thing.
You shout that as you fall off it, while your two allies
can I try
hang
and
on
catch
to.
her?
Yeah, of course you can. Make
I
an
roll for
athletics with advantage.
Oh, that's good. That is a 26.
26, lovely. You are currently hanging. He's hanging on with one hand, holding you with the other, while Kimmy just
Cheers.
balancing on one leg on one gear, just standing there, just slow shaking of their heads. You are climbing your way down through this machinery. As you climb your way down through this machinery, you can see that something is ploughing through bits of this. Like if you imagine, I don't know if anyone here has seen a car being crushed. It is very much like the gears seem to buckle and bend in various places, and ahead of you can almost see this sort of, almost like a cloud through the gears, just smashing through it. You can get quite close to it as you make your way through the bowels of this.
Wait, it's like beneath us.
It is currently sort of beneath and alongside. You can just, it's kind of hard to see because it's all gears, but you are slowly making your way through and seeing this almost cloud going past you.
There's a large. Just jump down and try to get here, so jump down.
I'm with you on that.
Is that possible?
You can certainly try.
We're gonna try.
The three of you, seeing this sort of strange, almost cloud in the gears, dive down towards it, weapons outstretched, ready to do your best to halt this thing before it does any major damage to your friends and potentially destroys the world. As you land, fighting your way through, pushing your way down, you manage to make your way to this sort of gears that are being slowly crushed upwards and towards you. And as they are, there are gaps in this you could easily step through and be face to face with whatever's inside there.
Kind of want to be on top of it, not like in front of it where it's crushing things.
Okay.
Like jump down on it and just like start.
It is, if you imagine it, what you're seeing is, if you imagine you could see through Earth, you're seeing what a mole would look like as it goes through Earth.
Yeah,
underneath
so like
it.
the top of it, not the pointy end of it.
Very well.
Yeah.
I'd like to go underneath.
We're underneath it.
Yeah.
Can you all make dexterity saving throws again with advantage for the two barbarians to push your way in to direct contact with this thing?
14.
14?
14 for me as well.
14. You both managed to slip your way through the gears, only taking 2 points of damage as parts of them grind against you.
Is that
Your raging is halved, you hit 1 point of damage each. Ah, barbarians. But you are now what you realise as you push your way through and now on top, you're basically on top of a giant industrial-sized machine that is just grinding its way along with gears around you being snapped and twisted. You have to stay quite close to it to even not be touching the walls, but you are now on top of whatever this thing is.
Can we start hitting?
Yes, please.
In a second. Kimmy, you're going underneath it.
Yeah, I rolled a 26 on
26. Live as ever. As you find, you've managed to slide your way between the gears and hang on. And as you do, you are now hanging underneath these gigantic tread wheels, grinding either side of you. But there is a slight space you can just lie in. You are now underneath this thing as it plows its way through all the gears. You can tell that what it's doing is it's crushing gears and giving itself a small ramp so it can slowly start going upwards towards the Nexus room, which has the crystal in it in the way that you want it. What would the three of you like to do?
Smash it.
Smash it.
Cool. Make attack rolls.
Reckless.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
24 on the first hit,
Yeah, that hit.
26 and a 21.
They both hit.
and then a 19 on the second hit.
Yeah, they all hit. Yeah. There's an AC of 18.
Would a stun strike work?
No.
34 damage.
It is immune to being stunned.
Yes,
Great.
fair enough.
34 damage.
34 damage.
15 damage.
15.
Yeah.
Okay. You are lashing out with your weapons, pulling bits of this off. As you do, cultists are coming out of hatches around you inside this thing and are trying to stop you from doing this. So you are being surrounded by allies of the big thing, piloting it. Yep. Kimmy, how much damage do you do? Well, what were your attack rolls?
16,
Does not hit.
then a natural 20,
Does hit.
and then it was lower 10.
Your tiny wooden quarterstaff appears useless next to this gigantic industrial machinery, but you do manage with one of your strikes to prise a panel off, and you're now looking into the underbelly of this huge creature. You roll damage on that.
Yep.
Thank you.
2 plus 4.
6. You are all managing to do some damage to this thing as you try and get inside it more than anything else. As these pieces are getting torn out and torn between, Kimmy, as you pull off underneath, above you, there's a horrific green liquid just floating around above you where you've pulled a panel apart. It appears to be some kind of spray mechanism or something similar. And where the two of you have dug your way in, there are, in one case where you are, there's this twitching, lightning-y, sparking effect across what looks like a gigantic metal ball. And on your side, there is what looks like a sort of round tube that appears to be pointing outside the machinery, almost like it's pointed straight at you.
Can I get out of the way of it?
We shall see. But you are all seeing that this thing has teeth. Dottie.
Hello.
The cult are now managing to nearly complete this machinery as far as you can tell, and they are placing all the pieces in and placing it all together and trying to get this whole thing working, and it looks like it's about there. You and the other rebellion members are looking on as the cultists take Copper and lead it and place it inside the machinery, and as they do, they start using gears to attach Copper, the robot as it is, entirely into the machine. Dottie, I'm scared.
The little girl's name is Copper.
Copper. It's going to be okay.
I know it is. They tell me it is, and they tell me this is the right thing to do, but what if it doesn't work?
I suppose we have to try. For all the other little girls and boys and people back at home in our town who we want them to be able to play and be with their families like you're with your parents and your cat now.
And for everyone else as well. I think if other universes too, I think.
Yeah, that's also true. But I am but a simple dragon who probably cannot comprehend that in this moment.
Okay. Will you stay with me?
I'll always stay.
giant metal hand reaches out.
Constitution saving.
Oh!
Yep. It's a 19. I am unmoved in this moment.
Yeah, you just grab hold, and you're holding on to a giant robot, but also a 7-year-old girl's hand. As the puppets, as the cultists around you start to begin the ritual that will allow this machinery to purify the crystal. So, the green liquid above you, inside this green tank, as you watch, a snaking, almost like a vacuum cleaner pump, comes out of it and sort of points towards you, and this green liquid starts spraying in your general direction. Can you please make a dexterity saving throw?
24.
Cool, you're going to take half damage.
Am I? Because of a thing.
You have evasion.
Thing. Yes. I think.
You do, it's called evasion.
Yep.
This liquid sprays over where you are. You very deftly, nimbly swing out of the way. You can't get inside the machinery because this tank is literally the only thing here. But you can pull another bit as this spray coats the ground beneath you and the rest of these gears it is grinding through. Where it coats them, there's a burning flame that starts to sizzle on the edges of it, and an acidic burn as it just starts burning this horrible patch of awfulness that very quickly gets trodden over as it continues onwards. What is your current armor class, Kato?
14.
The lightning flail, as you have pulled everything off, lashes out and thumps directly into your chest. You take damage. You take 15, so halved, 7 points raging, 7 points of bludgeoning damage as it thuds into your chest and a lightning shock bursts through you. 12, 17, 20, 23, also halved, so 11. 11 points of electricity damage course through you as it impacts you. As it does, sparks you can see shoot off you and impact different points, 3 different gear points around, and spark and lightning is passed through the metal and does no damage to it. But this is definitely a very powerful weapon that could do a lot of damage to a lot of people at any given time.
She's just laughing.
Not creepy at all. You're raging, so you make this dexterity saving throw with advantage.
Need it. That is 18.
Oh, it's a 20 to beat it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8, 9, 16, 21, 31 points of bludgeoning damage. You are a barbarian, so halved to 15 as a gigantic ball shoots out the end of this tube and impacts heavily with your chest. As it does, thunder rings in your ears at the sheer closeness to this weapon as you take another 8 halved, 4 points of thunder damage as well as this cannon goes off and explodes at you. At the same time, these cultists are not even attacking you. They are just running around you, trying to fix what you're breaking, trying to keep this machine in one piece as they sort of scurry around the edges and rewire things together and weld it around. What would the three of you like to do?
I would quite like to keep smashing.
The machine or the cultists who are trying to fix the machine?
One on the machine and one on one of the cultists.
Make 2 attack rolls, please.
Reckless.
I'm going to try and smash it because it's. Oh,
Hang on, you're making reckless attacks. AC is low.
What it is.
Okay, I think that will be the cultist just for sheer flavour, if nothing else.
And the other one is 19.
That also hits, yeah. Roll the damage.
So cultist with 20. 27.
Cool. A cultist who is trying to fix things around you, you just grab him and hold him up. And as the gears around just grind past,
No.
and while he's up, just boom, hit him with the axe and he's down. And then try and smash the thing underneath you more. You are still doing damage to the side of it.
15.
15 points of damage. You are still damaging it, but It's a huge thing. You are barely scratching the surface of it.
Okay, I'm going to try and close this circle, because I've got a circle thing aimed at me.
Tube. You've got a tube aimed at you.
Okay, I'm going to move out the
You
way
could
of
call
the
it a
tube.
cannon.
Okay, I'm going to move out the way of it. I'm going to move out the way of it, hopefully.
It follows you.
Fair enough. But I'm still going to try and hit on the top of the cannon, try and close the dent a little bit on that.
Dent it, sure.
Whilst also coming over here as cultists as well at the same time.
Great.
So the cannon, that is not great. That is a 15.
You smash your... Is it a hammer or a axe?
Warhammer.
You smash your hammer into the cannon, trying to break it, but no effect. Someone could have closed that door. But no effect as it just boom bounces off.
I'm going to go for an attack on the cultist.
Sure.
That's better. That is a 23.
23. Yeah, you backhand as you go bang, just backhand this cultist who flies off screaming and disappears ground between.
I'm hoping.
Hoping that it's a weapon as well. There it is. As he is ground between the wall it is currently pushing through and the side of this thing.
Let's turn on that. Did anyone see that? Anyone? No.
There's no one.
I'm going to try and make a hole in this tank.
Okay.
Without hurting myself.
Okay.
It's a process.
That's fine.
Ready?
I'm sure that'll go well.
It's gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
That is 14.
14. With your quarterstaff, you bong bounce against this glass thing. A very loud, sonorous bong, but you're not seeming to crack it at all.
That is worse. 11.
Again, bong, nothing. You do have your fists, monk.
Yeah, I'm going to use flurry of blows.
So 2 strikes with your fists and or feet, head, whichever body part you want to.
I like elbows.
You elbowing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elbows and knees.
Elbows and knees.
That is a bit better. That is a... What is that, 18?
Plus 4.
Plus 6.
No. Oh, yeah, then 18.
Yeah, 18.
First strike with the quarterstaff, bong, nothing. The second, bong, nothing. And with some frustration, you just lean up with your elbow and just smash it straight in front of you, and there's a forming.
And 16.
You try and smash down again, but the crack doesn't widen any further.
Do I roll damage?
Yeah, roll damage on the first strike.
That is 8.
Cool. Good stuff. Dottie, you're holding Copper's hand as she stands there, and the cultists next to you all step forward, reaching a hand out, and they're all touching Copper. All of them together, bowing their heads. And as they do, as Copper's hand, you can feel the tension in it relax. All of the gears surrounding it that are tied into this crystal start to slowly twist and go. And the beginnings of this ritual are happening, but you don't know what happens or how it works. And as we hit that point in the adventure, it's time to end this hour of Adventurers Wanted. I'm so sorry. Time is running out. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Well, thank you for being here. You can always follow the adventure on Twitter at Adventurers250, where we live tweet. Our stage manager Nemo is live tweeting this entire last hour, along with our other stage manager Naomi. They have live tweeted every hour of the show so far, so you can read it back like an interactive adventure with GIFs. Lots of GIFs. They're not called GIFs. GIFs. Very clear.
That's a specific dig at me.
Very much specific at you. Yes. We also stream the entire show on Twitch at Adventurers Wanted, twitch.tv/Adventurers Wanted, where you can watch every hour that you may or may not have seen and or missed. Some of the early hours are now off Twitch because they have a 2-week turnaround thing. They'll be on YouTube by September. But yes, you can catch up on the adventure on our YouTube and Twitch channels, generally speaking. Or you can join us in the room, as you guys have today. Thank you ever so much. You can also play at the table. Both Emma and Tyrone bought player tickets for this hour. They are the same cost as your audience tickets, and you get to play a character in an interactive adventure. We try and make it quite inclusive and open, and we want as many people as possible to join in this delightful storytelling method. We think it's really important. If you agree with us about how important it is, we also have a Patreon online where you can support us. Please do. And there's also a donate button on our website, which is adventurerswanted.co.uk. If you don't want the commitment of Patreon, which I completely understand. Player tickets are basically sold out, but if you pop to the box office and see if they've got any returns, also on a day if you pop in and see if there's a return and there isn't one, you can always watch an hour, and that's nice too. As you know, there's ways to interact with us. We're also on all the other social medias as Adventurers Wanted. Do share and like and let other people know about what we're up to. I have 4 lovely players to my left and right who've played a wonderful hour of D&D, and we'll play another one shortly. Do give them a round of applause for me. And everyone, you have about a minute. Would you like to plug something that you're working on, either here at the Fringe or down where you live, or anything D&D related, whatever you like? Go.
So I play with Adventurers in London, our monthly game, which is Omen, so if you're in London you should try and catch it. I'm also starting a live play podcast of Curse of Strahd, so follow me on Twitter, Emma Rashid, for if you're interested in hearing more about that. I also tweet lots of GIFs.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Isla. This
Yeah.
deaf guy's not going anywhere.
I'm a sign language interpreter, so if anyone needs a sign language interpreter, hey. I interpret this show 10:30 till 11:30 every morning, and as you can imagine, it's great fun interpreting all of this into sign language.
I will say that we're incredibly proud to have someone like Isla specifically, but generally a sign language interpreter, because it means that we can, again, have more people see what we do and take part in a hobby that is quite difficult to access if you have some inabilities. But if you've never seen someone BSL interpret an improvised D&D game where there are terms that don't exist in BSL, you must see what she does. It's incredible. Thank you.
I am a performance poet. I actually live in Edinburgh, so you can catch me after August. I promise I do actually like poetry. I just don't like other poets. You're exempt. You're fine. If that's something you're interested in, or if it's something you're not interested in, I'm like 2 likes off 500 likes. So go to Facebook.com/Catherine Wilson Poetry and let me change your mind.
Change your mind, more like. Good grief.
So I am Tyrone Lewis. I'm a poet, and seemingly Catherine seems to like the poetry and all that kind of stuff. But yes, I do poetry back in London. Other than that, I do lots of Twitter stuff. I do lots of things like that. So follow me on social media at Tyrone Lewis 22. Otherwise, I will be saying words around Fringe at a couple of open mic events and stuff.
Lovely. Thanks, Tyrone. Excellent. Thank you ever so much for joining us. If you can join us for more hours, please do. The story continues. If you can't, thank you so much for joining us for this time. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.